Hello watch fans, it's Anders here on Watch On channel. Today I'm very excited to review a watch that is only a prototype right now. It's a watch with a pretty interesting history and a watch that I was getting sent in for review. This is a watch from a brand new brand called Lankon watches. It is a dive style watch, very much kind of inspired by the Tudor Black Bay in my opinion. You get some of the same features, but they kind of incorporate both Arabic numerals and the typical dive style layout on the dial with this watch. And as a prototype watch, I actually think we get a pretty nice deal. So it is called the Caspian Seal, as you can see here. Here you see it, the Caspian Seal. This is a nod to Azerbaijan. So interesting history. I never actually reviewed a watch which kind of builds on heritage and history and natural life from Azerbaijan, and the watch was sent from South Korea, so very exotic. As I said before, we get this typical dive style layout, but I think this is kind of a mixture between a dive watch and an everyday watch. We get 150 meters of water resistance, it is automatic, it's powered by the Miyota 8217 movement. This is a movement beating at 21,600 vibrations per hour. And as you can see in your screen now, this being a prototype with this Miyota movement, I'm very impressed by the overall accuracy. Actually, Miyota, they state a tolerance of up to -20 to +40 seconds per day. So approximately 7-8 seconds per day is absolutely amazing accuracy with this. Getting closer into the dial, you can see we get applied hour markings and numerals from 12 and not at 6 o'clock, because at 6 o'clock we get the date window. Then we get these nice sword style hands and a kind of lollipop second hand. It is of course also filled with lume, and as you can see on your screen now, very nice lume. So I haven't tested if this lume will keep glowing for hours and hours, but it is very strong when you just light it up and take the watch into a dark room or something like that. So pretty nice lume, no complaints about the lume whatsoever. I also really like the fact that they applied the hour markings, as you can see in the screen now. Both these batons or these sticks at every second hour, so 12, and then you get 1, so all the even numbers, they are Arabic numerals, and all the uneven numbers, they are these sticks filled with lume, nicely applied. It looks really high quality and classy, this watch. Completely flat sapphire crystal. The bezel is one of my favorite things about this watch, apart from the color. It comes in 4 different colors, as you can see on the screen now. My favorite is definitely the brown one here. I think it looks very classy. I think it's a really nice dial color. I think they chose a really nice way of making the dial with this kind of matte brown. It's not sunburst. I think it looks really classy, really nice. And then you get the typical kind of Rolex style bezel here, but in this really nice matte brown aluminium insert. It has extremely nice bezel action, 120 clicks, no backplay whatsoever. So looking at the case, which is 316L stainless steel, we get some really nice vertical brushing. You can see here on the sides, a nice polishing all the way around the upper edge here to the locks. And we see it on the other side here. It isn't art, it isn't like Patek Philippe polishing or something like that, but for a micro brand watch, I think that the finishing on the case is really neatly done. And then back to the Caseback here with all the information. It is a screw down Caseback. I really like it. I think it looks very cute, but it's also kind of different with this seal. Usually it's sharks or some more kind of dangerous animals. A nice little seal here is a really fun little animal to have on the Caseback and name this watch after. So it has a screw down crown, of course signed. The crown action is really nice. Hacking, manual winding, and very easy to screw back in. The threading is really nice. I think that the crown is way too small for this watch. I don't really understand why they chose this small crown. Of course they want to make it a kind of everyday watch, not a typical sports dive watch, but I think this crown is simply too small. Now I'm just comparing to another watch. This is one of the newer Christopher Ward pilot's watches, and just look at how big this crown is compared to the Lankon. I also think, as this watch is inspired by more vintage dive watches like the Tudor Black Bay and the Tudor Black Bay 58, which has these big nice crowns, they should definitely, before they make the final production of this watch, consider actually using a bigger crown. And I also suggested to the guys behind the brand that they framed the date window. I think the date window is just kind of interfering with the overall nice symmetry and layout of the dial, but if they frame it, they will make it look a little bit better and a little more classy. The size is 41 in diameter, approximately 14 millimeters thick. It wears much thinner than the 14 millimeters. Lock width of 22 and only 46, a little more than 46 millimeters from lock tip to lock tip, and that's one of the reasons why this watch wears really nicely. So it also comes on this leather strap. I like the quality. I think it's a nice leather strap. You see here signed Lankon, but it is a bit weird to produce a dive watch on a leather strap. I know my personal example or copy of the Tudor Black Bay 58 comes on a leather strap, but you get a lot of other options. And I know the guys from Lankon, they told me that they will probably consider adding a rubber strap. So you'll get both a rubber strap and a leather strap, probably. And here, the Lankon is on my 17.5 centimeter wrist in circumference, and it wears extremely nicely. It is 41 millimeters as we saw, but only approximately 46 millimeters from lock tip to lock tip, because you get these very short locks, and I think that's a really nice dimension. I think they did exactly the right thing with the size, 41 millimeters. And I was a little bit curious with approximately 14 millimeters, a little less than 14 millimeters from the bottom to the top. It's a bit of a chunky watch in that aspect, but it actually doesn't wear any way like that. It wears really nicely. It does have some presence on the wrist, but it's definitely not a watch that is a big chunky dive watch. It is what it's supposed to be, a really nice everyday watch, which you can use as a dive watch or a field watch or whatever you want to use this watch for, because it is also built as a tough sports watch. The guys from Lankon Watches are telling me that this watch will be released in September of this year, and the price will be around $300. So the overall value you get for approximately $300 is pretty good with this watch, in my opinion. Also, they will release their new website and Instagram page very soon. When I get these informations, I will add them down in the description of this video, so check in later if you are interested in this watch or one of the other colors. Overall, I think it's a really nice package. I think they should do something with the small crown. It's a bit weird. They should add a rubber strap, although it feels and wears really nicely on the leather strap. Looks great as well. You want a rubber strap with a dive watch. And I think they should do something with framing the date window. All the other things, movement, the application of the hour markings, the hands, the dial color, the beautiful matte brown of the bezel action, the case finish, and all of that is really nice for a micro brand, a young brand. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the Lankon Caspian Seal. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.